We usually think of AI as just another tool, right? Something we tell what to do. But what if it's becoming something more, like a partner, a collaborator that doesn't just make us faster, but actually changes the whole game of what it even means to be productive? Today, we're going to dive into how AI is redrawing the map for creativity and work in our writing, our art, and even the code that runs our world.
And that brings up a really big question, doesn't it? What are the new boundaries of productivity? I mean, for basically all of human history, our output was capped by human effort and, the number of hours in a day. Well, that era, it's ending fast.
So we're moving past a world that's limited by our own stamina. Now we're stepping into a new paradigm where the speed of automation, that spark of innovation, and just raw efficiency all come together. And listen, this isn't just a simple software update for how we work. It's a total reboot.
All right, here's our game plan. First, we'll talk about this new productivity paradigm. Then, we'll look at how AI is changing writing, then visuals, and then code. And to wrap it all up, we'll explore what our shared future with AI might actually look like.
Okay, let's kick things off with writing. You know that feeling, right? Staring at a blank page, it can be pretty intimidating. Well, AI is turning that page into more of a collaborative canvas, helping us get from a spark of an idea to a polished piece of writing at a speed that's just, incredible.
So, what's the magic behind this? It's something called a large language model, or LLM for short. The easiest way to think about it is like an AI that has read, basically the entire internet. It's been trained on a truly massive amount of text, which lets it understand context and nuance, and then generate language that sounds surprisingly human.
In the real world, this plays out in three amazing ways. First, it helps with just getting started, generating drafts, brainstorming ideas, and just blasting through writer's block. Second, it's like having a superhuman editor on call, constantly refining grammar and style. And third, and this is a huge one, it can digest and summarize massive amounts of information. For anyone doing research, that is an absolute game changer.
But of course, with all this power come some pretty big questions. On the one hand, AI supercharges our abilities. It speeds up workflows and makes our writing clearer. But on the other hand, we're wading into tricky new waters. Who's the real author here? How do hidden biases in the training data affect the output? And we have to figure out that really tough balance. Where does our creativity end and the algorithm's work begin?
All right, now let's pivot and see how this exact same shift is playing out in the world of visuals. Because here, AI isn't just an assistant anymore. It's really becoming a creative partner. You could almost call it an algorithmic artist. The tech behind this is what we call generative models, things like GANs and diffusion models. Now, that sounds complicated, but here's the simple version. These systems have learned from millions, maybe billions of images. They get the patterns, the styles, all the relationships, and then use that knowledge to create brand new visuals just from a text prompt. This is exactly how tools like DALL and MidJourney can create pretty much anything you can dream up. And the impact? It's just massive. Think about it. AI can automate all that tedious design work. It can generate stunningly complex images in seconds. It can create personalized visuals just for you, on the fly. But the most exciting part might be how it augments our own creativity, acting like a co-creator that helps push the boundaries of what we can even imagine. And just like with writing, all this power brings a whole new set of challenges. It's amazing that it's democratizing creativity, putting these powerful tools in everyone's hands. But at the same time, it's forcing us to ask some really tough questions about intellectual property, right? Like, where did the training data come from? And what about deepfakes? Not to mention, how do we make sure we stay in control of the final product?
Okay, for our final domain, let's look at something that's both super technical and highly creative: coding. In the world of software development, AI isn't just a helper on the sidelines anymore. Oh no, it's sitting right there in the code editor with you, acting as your co-pilot.
So what exactly is an AI coding assistant? Well, think of a tool that's been trained on billions of lines of public code. It gets programming languages, it gets logic, and because of that, it can suggest code snippets, help you hunt down bugs, and sometimes it can even write whole chunks of code for you. It just dramatically accelerates the whole development process.
So what does this actually mean for a programmer's day-to-day? First, it's like having a perfect proofreader looking over your shoulder, catching mistakes as you make them. Second, it takes care of all the boring, repetitive stuff, the boilerplate code, so developers can focus on the really important high-level design. And this might be the biggest deal of all. It's lowering the barrier to entry, letting more people create software just by describing what they want in plain language.
Now, the upside here is crystal clear. Development gets faster and way more efficient. But the risks, they're just as real. There's a danger of becoming too dependent on these tools. Often, the code they generate is a bit of a black box. We don't always know exactly how it works. And we absolutely need to keep a close scholarly eye on the long-term effects this will have on the craft of software development.
Okay, so this brings us to the big picture, right? We've seen how AI is shaking up writing, visuals, and code. So, what does this all mean for our future? It's about way more than just doing things faster. It's about finding a new kind of productivity with real purpose. Because let's be honest, this isn't just about a new workflow. These tools are forcing us to grapple with some really fundamental ideas. I mean, what does it mean to be an author anymore? What is creativity in this new world? And what's the value of human brainpower when a machine can replicate so much of it?
You know, the path forward probably isn't a human versus machine battle. The real breakthrough, the real gains are going to come from what some are calling a co-creation paradigm. And that's just a fancy way of saying a dynamic collaboration, a partnership that blends the best of our human intuition with the incredible power of machine intelligence.
But, and this is a big but, to get there responsibly, we absolutely need some guardrails. We can't just stumble into this future. We have to build it on a foundation of solid ethical principles. That means we have to demand AI systems that we can actually understand, no more black boxes. It means we have to keep a human in the loop for that critical oversight, and it means we have to be constantly on watch for systemic biases that these systems can pick up from our own imperfect data.
And that leaves us with one last, big question to think about. As AI gets better and better at handling the how to write the report, how to design the image, how to build the app, what are we as humans going to do with all the time and mental energy that frees up? It gives us more time to ask why. And that might just be the most important productivity question of our time.